The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Howard Grant sitting in for Shanique Miller on this beautiful Friday evening. BIM. Warm and easy. I just wanted to be able to say that, guys. I hope that you're having a beautiful time. I am grateful to be here. I got a lot of your calls being able to talk to us about the fact that you had a good time on the show and you're liking the show, you're enjoying the show. I had a great opportunity to be able to sit with some great guys so far. I sat with Garth, Garth is my guy, and Leslie Miller, and I've really enjoyed those conversations over the past few days. I wanted to be able to give it a little feminine flair today, but still be able to hit some of those conversations that we've been having. This is someone who's been sitting with me some time, and then she graduated from me. Can I say actually better than me? Talk to me. I just want to be decent with you. But she's back here being able to sit with me. I know Shanique ain't here. So she said, well, let me grace it with my presence. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to none other than Gabby Anius, who's sitting here with me. Gabby, what's happening with you?
Why you like that?
And Garth is here also. Since they put two fingers, and Garth is here with us also. Go on, Gabby. Talk to the people. Tell them they're here. Tell them you're here.
Good evening, Howard,
My
and good
God.
evening, Bahamas. Good evening from wherever you're watching from, all around the world, Howard. But why you like that?
Because I decent.
I could never graduate from you, darling.
Hey, Jesus.
Listen.
I just want to be decent.
We could be decent tonight, too. We could be decent.
Guys, it's a beautiful thing to have you. Garth, how you doing this evening, my brother? I appreciate you joining me.
We have a little good night to those again, and it's a pleasure to be here. It's been a full week, Howard, and of course, as usual, after our last appearance, I got calls from Texas late last night, got calls from Atlanta this morning, and the calls continue to come in about the show's performance last night. The people are excited, and they're looking forward to your completed analysis as to where we sit presently in the upcoming general elections 2026 here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Well, what do you make of that, Gabby? I didn't know if you had an opportunity to be able to kind of look into what we were doing, but we've been having a conversation, trying to be able to give sort of an analysis of the landscape of what our expectations can be throughout the country. Now, I never want to be able to sway on the left or sway on the right, but we're looking at the evidence. What you laugh? We're looking at the evidence and trying to be able to make a determination as to who will be first past the post as we're looking at those particular things. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think there are a lot of constituencies for incumbents that they will definitely secure. I do think there are a few incumbents that are working diligently, working hard to make sure that they get that second term around. As for the opposition, they have the toughest job that there is, because they have to convince the voter populace that not only that the members of parliament that they have now aren't fit for the job, but that they are better suited, especially when we look at the third party and independent forces in the race that tend to even sway some of those tighter seats. Some of the numbers are going to be incredibly tight when you look at the boundaries report that was tabled and you see some of the strategic moves and cuts. It is going to come down, Howard and Garth, to pure ground game and getting your people out to vote.
And you think that the Free National Movement, which is the opposition, the royal and loyal opposition, do you think they have what it takes to be able to, or are they presenting at least the silhouette? You see what I did to Gavin? At least the silhouette of that kind of a strong ground game to capture those particular seats, or to convince the public that, hey, listen, we have what it takes. Why don't you move with us?
I think the Free National Movement still has an uphill battle and a lot of work to do. Coming out of last year, in all fairness and being completely analytical about this, coming out of last year with the amount of ratified candidates that they've had, a lot of them still not visible enough, still not relating to the people enough. If you are going to have all of these candidate rollouts, have all these persons on the ground, you have to be ready to go in with a bang. Come in like a wrecking ball. The people need to hear you, see you, feel you everywhere they turn. There's been too many distractions when you look at whether it is they're focusing on the coalition, what the Coalition of Independence is doing. It's just been too many things left, right, instead of going full-fledged ahead, putting on your blinders, getting down, like I said, to the ground game. This is a ground game campaign. It's not about what your opponent is or isn't doing. It's about what you are prepared to do and offering the people a viable alternative.
What do you say to that, Garth?
Well, I did go home last evening, and I actually watched the program twice, just to simply get a grasp of the whole entire performance. And when we went to Long Island, not understanding if the sitting member of parliament is going to return, there's no word from the Free National Movement on that, based maybe on the whole idea of a case that's still pending. We've not yet heard a selection from the Progressive Liberal Party, so we couldn't call Long Island. But when we went to Meg Warner and Mike Hall, I heard you mention that your friend was Miriam Emanuel, and her husband is also your very good friend, and you didn't make a clear call as to whether Mike Hall, as to which way you believe at this time that Mike Hall may go, because the PLP has not yet named a candidate, and neither has the FNM. And so that is still there. When it came to Exuma, I sensed a loyalty to the Moxie family, and nothing wrong that they are also your friends. And of course, Chester Cooper, the deputy leader, he sits there.
There's a relationship, and
there's a relationship.
Strength.
And the
there's
reason
a relationship that I have with the Moxie family. I told you I know them personally, and I support them in their particular fight, in their plight, to be able to find these things. But then there is an apparent strength that exists in the Exumas and the Ragged Islands, which is undeniable. Chester Cooper has forged an undeniable presence in the constituency of the Exumas and Ragged Island.
And so here's why I mentioned those three, and how would I know how your brain works, and I do appreciate the way you think. Listening to the program last night, it's all about the relationship. You use that word relationship, Gabby used the word relationship. This election of 2026 is all about relationships. And in previous times when we would have said, because I am a PLP, because I'm an FNM, because I'm a third party type individual, the mere fact that a relationship does not exist could possibly now mean that there is going to be a low voter turnout. We have not seen relationships being built in these constituencies. I was in Bamboo Town yesterday and today, and you better believe there's a void in Bamboo Town that if even you did not like the Speaker of the House, Patricia DeVoe Howard Grant, the question is then, who will you choose if not her? And you made some mention to that. And no relationship has been established with Dr. Dwayne Sands. The relationship between Maria Daxon is there, but she is actually, believe it or not, the bigger threat out of the three. And I was amazed by that. You may not believe it, but she was. And of course, Reverend Wells trying to return. Of course, there's going to be some fight and some kickback on that. And so Bamboo Town is going to be a hotly elected seat. That same Bamboo Town. Keep your eyes on it, Howard Grant.
Let's be clear. In the papers today, you can be able to read the Speaker of the House of Assembly being able to take on a position. We picked up one of the local dailies and being able to talk about that. Now, in the papers today, the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Patricia, DeVoe, has taken on this kind of a position to say that she is vying. She's looking to be able to re-elect. Now, this is in contrast to what she said some months back.
Yes.
Some months back, she said that she's indifferent about that. Even prior to that, she's been saying that, and I said this, that she's insinuated that it was a sense of misogyny that was existing in these particular spaces. Now, I use the word misogyny, but she has said that there needs to be a place for women. I surmise that. There needs to be more respect and a space for these particular women. Her language leading up to the possible nomination has said to me that she's indifferent with this. Now, if all of us tying up our shoes, getting ready to run, All of us getting ready to run beyond the starting line, and she's indifferent as to whether or not she'll even approach the starting line. In my mind, this me, it's only Howard, she ain't game. Now, when she see her opponents, she say, well, this could possibly be, this could possibly be a cakewalk. This could be a cakewalk. Let me throw my hand. Now, let me tell you something.
I like it.
That was not a bad analysis by her.
I like it.
It was not a bad analysis by her.
I like it.
Renwood Wells is going in there to be able to defeat Dwayne Sands.
Yes.
And that's what's going to happen. Renwood Wells has blood in his eyes. Renwood, you is my friend. Come sit with me and tell me otherwise. He has blood in his eyes before what the Free National Movement has done to him, has done to his legacy, has done to his position, has tried to be able to demean him in his position because of his loyalty to a man who elevated him, which is Dr. Hubert Alexander Minnis, which has elevated him and provided him opportunities. And now it seems as though he is a villain as a result of that. Renwood coming with blood in his eyes. And I told you he can start off with 650 votes. I told you that.
You really think so?
I'm telling you.
I don't see, and me and Renwood have no issues, again, just on pure analysis. Renwood has not been the Tennyson Wells of Bamboo Town. If he had been, he would have still been there. Renwood Wells.
Hold on.
Renwood Wells
No, let her talk.
hasn't even gotten his act together enough to let ChatGPT airbrush the torch off of his Christmas flyer that he put out. I was wondering if he forgot he was no longer running for the Free National Movement.
Oh.
And this is the Renwood Wells that you are telling me is going to defeat Dr. Sands.
Hold on.
Come again, Howard. Come again with that one.
Let's fix it.
Get your house in order. Fix that one.
If you look at Pinewood for the past 20 years has not sent another member of parliament in there, repeated member of parliament there.
Okay,
if you look at a great deal of the constituencies outside of Angliston, in the city of Nassau, we have not seen a return. We ain't talking about St. Anne's.
No.
We're talking about St. Anne's, we ain't talking about Kalani, we're not talking about the established locations. We're talking about these shape-shifting constituencies, these fluid constituencies that the only way you could convince them is by the labor that you provide to them, okay? So when we see St. Barnabas, it was a wonderful thing. He got in on 2 times for the Free National Movement, Shannon Cartwright. So now that speaks to his character.
Yes,
Renwood Wells came in on the PLP ticket.
There you go. I following you with this.
He came in on the PLP ticket.
And what did he do?
Same people. He jumped ship, gone to the Free National Movement because of whatever the issue was with the LOI, so forth and so on, and found himself in the Free National Movement. And he won again.
Again.
On a wave. It don't matter if it's a wave or it's a crescent.
Okay.
It has to have some value that he brings there. I didn't tell you the man can take the whole hog. I said to you, at least he can take a leg and a half. And once he take that leg and a half, it coming out of
Maria Jackson probably could get a leg and a half over Renwood Wells. But the last time they had some bet on him, some people put out some things and say, God damn, running the horse race.
Go on.
But we're just speaking figuratively about betting.
I'm glad he has some validity tonight, Howard Grant. Bamboo Town is
your area.
Thank you very much.
That's your area.
Thank you very much.
That's where you live.
Just the way I can't tell you nothing but 8 Mile Rock.
No, you can't tell me nothing.
Thank you very much. So let me tell you about Bamboo
But
Town.
he's a Golden Isles man.
I'm a Southwest Corridor man.
Southwest. But you know he has multiple residences.
I control the Southwest Corridor on the streets. This is what I do. I influence. But let me say this to you, Howard Grant, which is interesting with this election, which makes it so difficult and different. And I know that you being a media person, you would understand this. What is actually confusing most of us, if not all of us, is the whole idea of social media. This little camera in everyone's hand, and everyone is now a reporter, everyone is now an analyst, everybody now seeing everything, hearing everything, feeling everything. It's confusing the masses. When we look at the relationship of Patricia DeVoe, we ask ourselves the question, is the relationship so bad? When we look at Dr. Dwayne Sands, is there even a relationship? When you look at the relationship with Maria Jackson, is there a relationship? When you look at Raymond Wells, I asked a question in Bamboo Town, what type of relationship did we have? Whereas he is a stellar individual in terms of his accomplishments. You look at his resume. Oh, I love his resume. It's so filled with success stories. But on the streets, the young men, the young women, and their mothers and the fathers' reputation that is not heard of in social media, not heard on media as we are sitting here tonight, but heard on the streets, they will destroy you, Howard Grant.
Now let's do this. Let's do this. Let's be clear about this conversation. This is not an agitation to say to you that he will be first past the post. We are saying to you in the four-man race, the proverbial four-man race that exists in Bamboo Town theoretically at this point, and why we believe in assessment of being able to read that story this morning and Patricia DeVoe, Speaker of the House of Assembly, being able to shift her position and say, okay, well, I'll be able to move back, is because she see what we would call, in our colloquial term, a low fence. I just want to be decent with you as I see this particular
and I agree with you.
And as I say this to you, I am saying to you that the second man, because, you know, if you don't win, you lose. But the second runner-up could be Dwayne Sands, but that would only be as a result of what has been chipped away from him by these two people. Renwood Wells would chip away from his position.
I agree.
And I believe that Maria Daxon, I didn't tell you, I give 150 votes minimum at the onset. She could go from there. I give 150 votes starting the conversation, and I believe that this will chip away at Dwayne Sands' position. Dwayne Sands also has a difficult time when he presents himself, not just theoretically, but in the flesh, in thought, word, and deed, as he articulates his posture, as he speaks to these people in this. Dwayne Sands.
Speak to who?
As he speaks to the people in Bamboo Town.
Boss man, we don't hear no talk in Bamboo Town. We don't want to hear no talk in Bamboo Town. You bring the thing, put it on the ground, and we will respond.
Well,
that's
not
how
gonna
Bamboo
happen.
Town. I'm not asking nobody
That's not
this.
gonna happen.
This Tennyson Wells country, man. You got to put the thing on the ground. If you ain't bringing it on the ground, shut your mouth and move out of Bamboo
someone
Town.
should
I
have told
asking
him
you.
this then.
But they should have told him that he should know that he's the chairman.
If he don't know this,
Oh, don't know that. Don't know.
It's-
Don't know and see what happens to
St.
you.
James looking better and better every day.
Oh, thank you very much.
As
I
we
love.
continue to have
As a
this
matter of fact, I
conversation.
live in
But
St. James.
y'all ain't even talk about the fact that the PLP has not ratified Patricia DeVoe as yet, and she may not even be the
Howard, I wanna
the
call-
candidate.
Listen, we call this show the Great Chip Away because we still got to talk about Kalani, the chip away effect, and we still got to talk about Blue Johnson, the chip away effect. Let's go back to it, Howard Grant, after the break.
Well, when we get back, Blue in Freetown. When we get back, we're going to dive deeper into these conversations, continue to talk about where we are. I hope that you're enjoying this. I hope that you're participating. Leave some information in the comments. Let us know what your thoughts are as it relates to Bamboo Town. We're going to take this quick commercial break right here on the Beyond the Headlines and be back right after this.
It's a Holy Frosty Christmas, and Wendy's and Coke is bringing the chill. This year, when you upgrade any Wendy's combo to a large, you can instantly win big with the Upgrade and Win Christmas giveaway. We're talking travel gift cards, gadgets, holiday treats, and prizes that make your Holy Frosty Christmas shine. Just upgrade your favorite lunch combo, scan the QR code on your receipt to enter, and let the holiday magic begin. Enjoy great tasting food and win big this Christmas with Wendy's and Coca-Cola's Upgrade and Win. Rules and restrictions apply.
January means business.
spice it up with what we got.
Welcome to Paradise Premium Foods, where exceptional taste meets everyday convenience. Right in the heart of Hurricane Hole Plaza, whether you're planning a beachside brunch, an intimate dinner, or simply restocking your favorites, we offer only the finest selection of local and imported goods, handpicked for quality, freshness, and flavor. At Paradise Premium Foods, shopping is effortless, service is personal, and every visit feels like a treat. From gourmet meals to go to organic essentials and indulgent treats, this is your neighborhood market elevated. Live well, eat better. Discover Paradise Premium Foods, now open at Hurricane Hole Plaza, Paradise Island. Paradise Premium Foods. Taste the difference.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. These people try to yuck me under the bus and try to talk these things. I just want to be clear about where we are. I want to thank you so very kindly. If you're just tuning in, I'm Howard Grant, sitting in for Shanique Miller right here on Beyond the Headlines as we continue to talk about these things. And joining me today is none other than Gabby Aeneas and Garth Roseborough as he continues to be able to talk about these things. I am truly grateful for an opportunity to talk about these things. Now, when we left off, we were talking about, more specifically, Bamboo Town. And I believe, which is a mismatch for the Free National Movement, and as a result of this mismatch, this is what I believe, Madam Speaker, you got my telephone number, you will call me, praise Jesus. But I believe you see a low fence. Mm-hmm. This is the colloquial term. I believe that you see a low fence. I believe that you realize, and in some quadrants they would say, I believe you see chalk. You could dust this one. Yeah, and I don't disagree with you because this election, as Gabby said, is going to come down to a ground game and it's going to come down to basic math, just basic math. We started to talk last night about the basic math that exists in North Abaco. Basic math that exists in these various constituencies where there is going to be someone that comes in and chips away at the Free National Movement's numbers. Okay. We said this last evening. There is a firmament that exists, and that firmament that separates the FNM from the PLP, you can't get past that. And as a result of that, the FNM, who has a wider range, that they have to be able to influence independents, they influence those persons who are indifferent and who are undecided, so forth and so on. The PLP don't have to do all that. This is why, statistically, the PLP will always do better with low voter turnouts. They don't never get crazy and say, you got to come out to vote. PLPs don't do that. Mm-hmm. They come into your house and say, hey, listen, come to vote. Bang. They only need to get past the post. That's it. They only need to get past the post. I am not advertising to the Bahamas to come and come vote. I only need my voters.
And that's the thing, Howard. And this is the election. This is
I need all y'all to come in and vote for.
This is the lesson. This is the lesson that the Free National Movement should have learned from the by-election. You need to get your people out.
The Free National Movement
matter about nothing else.
The Free National Movement don't have no people.
What do you mean they got no people?
They
out
don't
there?
have no people.
Howard, how
This
you
is
can say
deep
they have no
conversation.
people and thousands of people vote for them still?
That it means that they have people. They ain't no loyalists in the Free National Movement.
But the thing about it is you don't need loyalists to cross the finish line. You
Well, then
just
if you-
need people who you convince. You said, the PLP go to the door, they say, hey, I just need you to come out.
That's their
so if
people.
you on the ground, right? If you are on the ground and you are working and you're knocking at those doors, the people who support you, you'd have already identified. This is basic math. You just need to get and one. But
give
you
you
ain't
a
want to
quick
get
story.
and one because you ain't want to end up in
I
election
give you a
court.
quick story. This is going to be a very quick story. The quick story is this. In 1973, right, after all of these things happened, after we would have been able to see the first black premier, after we transitioned and found ourselves in independence and being able to do these things, there's some things that shifted in this country. There's some whispers that mothers gave to their children now because they saw the first black man who black people coined Moses in this country. That was the PLP. They whispered in their children in their ears, generation after generation, what the PLP has done for us. From where we come from. We was living in a particular position and now we elevated because of the PLP. That's their people. They will never forget them. Those that transition who are liberated, those who see that we can do this better have become the Free National Movement or the Freedom Fighters, right? Or the Free PLP. When they transition, this free, which is articulated from the chairman of the Free National Movement, is that the spirit of dissidence exists in the Free National Movement. This is what they say. I didn't say this. It sounds like a haunted house to me. They say the spirit of dissidence exists in the Free National Movement. I come from the Free National Movement, joined the DNA. You know what they call me? A watermelon. So you're only green on the outside, Howard. You're red on the inside. All right, don't matter that. The green is the part that was voting that year. Let's just be clear about this. Okay? This is why I said to you, there is no loyalty. The loyalty exists to the democracy that exists in the Free National Movement. They don't have no people. They don't have an anchor that we can hold on and say the FNM did this for us. The FNM only thing that we could hold on to is the fact that they engage us with liberty. That's it. And if they're giving us liberty, the COI is also giving us liberty. The CDR is giving us liberty. The DNA is giving us liberty. Righteous, whatever these parties
Kingdom
is giving us liberty. So you have no loyalty in these particular spaces.
So let me ask you this, because one of the people that I did admire in the Free National Movement is none other than Desmond Bannister, the former Deputy Prime Minister of the Bahamas. I think he had a pretty good ground team. He showed me in Carmichael that he knew how to campaign, and I always appreciated watching their campaign on the ground. Listening to you now, Howard Grant, could you transfer that same formula for Bamboo Town over to the Kalani constituency? Now, we just had a divide where a portion of Kalani has gone to St. James. We know the principals are Michael Barnett, Dr. Hubert Alexander Minnis, Dr. MacIver, and I think the Duncombe gentleman ran in the last election, Ronnie, right? And he has not yet been ratified as yet, I do believe.
Quiet.
Very, very quiet. And so how do you assess Kalani then? Is it similar to Bamboo Town or is it totally
comes
different?
in with 1,000 votes off the top. Let's just talk now. If you want to talk, let's talk. Minnis comes in right now. The constituencies identify almost 6,000 voters after they make the split. Minnis comes in with 1,000 votes right off the top. Bob. He ain't started his ground game yet. He ain't touched people yet. He got all the young children laughing on Facebook and WhatsApp and this and that and all the phone like that. You talk about the phone and social media. He utilizing it as an older man in a superb manner in our culture, blowing my mind. Got me laughing all day. It was a Jesus ministry. Where this was when you telling us NPO.
So
where this was.
So he's coming
when you telling all this thing.
He's coming in at 1,000.
He coming in at 1,000.
Does Patricia DeVoe also have the same 1,000 or more?
Patricia DeVoe has 1,200 votes.
1,200 votes, okay.
Right off the top.
So right there, that's a comparison. Now let's go now to the person, Duncombe. What is his chances knowing that Minnis is of FNM, but running independent, and there's an FNM candidate, Michaela Barnett, who's there? Does that give Duncombe an opportunity to upset
This is the exact same
incumbent?
thing that we're saying. Whether we're talking about Frederick Marco Pine in Pine Ridge, whether we're talking about Kirk Cornish in North Abaco, whether we're talking about Dr. Minnis in Kalani, whether we're talking about if Adrian Gibson, hypothetically based upon some things that we're hearing, if Adrian Gibson decides to go independent, whatever we're talking about, when there is someone to upset the apple cart, you're going to see that come from the contingent or the space for the Free National Movement. Those numbers are going to move from the Free National Movement. And it's going to put the PLP in a position where they can walk right in. This is why they're reevaluating everything. This is why North Eleuthera has reevaluated his position. Because as much as North Eleuthera may have liked Ricky Mackey and so forth and so on, the fact of the matter is that if you're going to be indecisive, if there's going to be somebody else, I could get back in there. Yeah, this is just numbers. All this is just numbers. No one is taking into assessment. They're using Boodle, the same formula that they tried to use in West Grand Bahama with name familiarity for the community. They're using the exact same thing in North Abaco. Boodle is a name that is known in North Abaco, just as Cornish is a name that is known in North Abaco. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to be able to use the name recognition, and they're believing, watch me, they're believing that as a result of what has happened or didn't happen with Kirk Cornish, and even though he's been vindicated, that on the ground, we could still be able to at least pitch in your mind and your subconscious a particular narrative. But you have not taken into assessment Kai Mills. You have not taken these particular elements into assessment. And if you're not doing that, you're doing bad maths and you're going to lose. And that's all I want to say. Go ahead, talk to me.
Gabby, listening to Howard, I hope you join me in questioning him in this particular manner. Knowing the formidability of the FNM in terms of default from time to time from the Progressive Liberal Party, we would normally see the election swinging towards the Royal Opposition at this time for victory, normally, under the last 20 years, yes?
By now, you should have seen that.
The last 30
okay,
years.
okay, good. Now, let me ask a question.
Since 92.
We don't want to give too much free consultation, Howard Grant, tonight. But see, he laughing, because you know Howard don't like to do free things too much. He do it for Jesus, but he ain't doing it for too much other people. Now, listen. Do we leave the fault at the association level where we saw the debacles between party chairman, allegiance to either Minnis or to Pintard? Do we leave the fault at the chairman who runs the party, the candidates committee, the leader himself, or are we just simply saying that at this particular time the people of the Bahamas are just not interested? What are we saying?
You got to ask that question again. I don't understand what you're asking me.
You want to ask
me?
There has to be a fundamental, there has to be a fundamental flaw as to why at this present time the Free National Movement has not taken up any flight. Yeah, I know I threw you under the bus.
You keep doing the same thing because you keep doing this. You doing it last night. You're doing it again tonight. You want me to talk about the same thing, and I keep telling you.
Fix it, Howard. Just fix it. Just fix it.
The Free National Movement has committed itself to a traditional concept that has worked for them in the past. We accept that, we understand that, and it has been driven by men and women, more specifically a man, who has a vision, that existed in yesteryear, right? A vision that has not evolved in that particular person that the party continues to consume. The fact of the matter is that you have youthful persons, articulate persons, insightful persons. You have these people within your organization that you continue to be able to hold on a short leash.
Yes.
You have them on a very short leash. They can't even expose themselves. They can't touch their community. They have to wait till the very last minute to be able to be shuffled between here and there. There's no value that you're showing to these individuals and their talent. That's something that I recognize in this country.
I like that.
No one takes into account the talent that exists in people. They will pay you the same chump change that they pay the next fellow.
Yes.
Listen, baby, I just do this. I just do this, baby. You can't give me no $2 to do this.
Gabby always says that, but yeah, go ahead, Howard.
All right? And so people pay you based upon what they pay the last fellow. People pay you based upon what historically people have accepted in this position, and they disregard the talent that exists in there.
My Lord.
The Free National Movement has a significant talent in the organization. People that the organization have deflected and rejected for far too long. For far too long. These people are sharp, they're insightful, they're articulate, they got vision, they got passion, they just need one thing, an opportunity. They just need an opportunity. And I swear if you give it to them, you will not be disappointed. But you haven't given it to them. You haven't given it to them with their first 17 rollout. You haven't given it to them with your second rollout. You haven't given it to them with every progressive conversation that we've heard about a particular person getting involved, and this why this one there. You haven't given the people a chance. But you want us to vote for an idea of the Free National Movement. Because this is not what we know to be the Free National Movement. And you always get me hot because I never want to talk about this. But this is what it is.
It is what it is.
This is what it is.
So, Gabi, do we have enough time then to correct the problem? Election is pending. Would say you're the youngest person in the room, and we've been friends for quite some time, and so you've always spoken to me and said, "Garth, the older people are not giving the younger people an opportunity to step forward," just as Howard just said. And I want to hear, Howard, from her, if she does believe that with the window that we have before this upcoming general election, is there any time and any way that can be fixed?
I want to first start off that question with a statement, and I want to say to you both this. I've sat at both of your feet being senior to me, and I always listen. I feel like a lot of people feel that giving more younger persons an opportunity means pushing older persons or wisdom to the side. Howard started off by saying something about that. He talked about that majority rule government. And when we look at that Moses of that generation, he was but 36 years old.
Young man.
Young man. His colleagues, when we look at them, you had some 26. You had a mixture, but you had some seasoned in there too, 42. You had some 62. There was a mix, that majority rule government that brought us to this Bahamas, that brought us over the hump. The issue only became when they stayed so long and they didn't want to give that same zeal and vigor that they came in with. They didn't want to pass that torch, for a figurative word, on to the next generation to keep it going, to renew the Bahamas, continue it to refresh, because society began to modernize, times begin to change. And a lot of the problems we have is because we aren't keeping pace with the changing of the nation. We aren't, and the world around us. So we are decades and millennials behind. I remember when the first ABM came over here, my friends and me say, we had ABMs from like 06 or the early 2000s in the US, right? You're just learning how to put money into a machine and not have to go on and tell a lie.
You know why? Let me tell you why. Because power is relentlessly intoxicating. It's toxic. Power, the endorphins that people get when they say, "Yes, sir, boss man." "Oh, minister, yes, sir, boss man." Them endorphins that you get, you might not be getting the money, but that idea that I's the boss, that'll kill a black man. I just want to be decent with you as we have this conversation.
I disagree with two of you after the break.
When we get back, we can dive into a few more of these things. We're supposed to tell you some other stuff that's happening. My God, I know we can get to that today. It's a Friday evening, guys. We're going to be able to kind of cool it down right after this. We can get back, take this commercial break right after this.
We have to be mindful that as much as we want touristic development, what impacts the fisheries? Over-coastal development, destruction of mangroves, overzealousness of the industry. We have a new movement called do-it-yourself fishing. That is anglers who come to the Bahamas, they don't engage in hiring a guide. Because of this approach, you are going to have people who are going to exhaust the resources.
This is an industry that's preserved. It should be for Bahamian guides only. We have the DIYs coming in here and they're destroying our flats.
We try not to overfish certain areas, so we'll fish a certain area and we'll back off for a while because we don't want the fish to feel too much pressure.
It's not just using the buzzwords of the environment and the ecology. The tourists can be educated that the more you support local ownership, people are doing it obviously the right way, the more the economic circulation in the communities.
I think the most critical thing is accountability, and that accountability by way of legislation, both the Act and regulations to govern fly fishing in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
I look at conservation efforts and the regulation that I've seen to protect the industry that's in the developed world. All of those jurisdictions have implemented strong regulation to protect their fisheries. We are way behind, but we do have a movement and a consciousness. We know where we need to be. Those are our resources, and we have to make an exerted effort to protect it, because that's the only gift that we have been given. And if we don't protect that, then we lose everything.
Building the lodge, I understood clearly the mission to continue what my father started. From this lodge, it has served as the headquarters. We finally got legislation passed in 2016, and it legitimized the guiding profession. We pushed to get the program established into BAMSI in the training of the next generation of guides, but it extends way beyond that.
We need more Bahamians in the industry who are doing the research to provide the information to the industry, that is to fishermen and to everybody who benefits from the resources.
We don't know the resources in this country. We grew up just hearing about sun, sand, and sea.
It is going to be through education and awareness, whether it's within our schools, whether it's in our communities, to conserve the environment, that is going to sustain the fly fishing industry.
Well, the future of fly fishing in the company, I think fly fishing is a very, very unique spot. I think it's going to get better because the guides are now being all certified. They're all getting proper knowledge of handling and how to run the whole system.
If you're a youngster and you want to get into this, it's a job like any other job. You got to live it. You got to love it.
Young entrepreneurs coming in, you want that kind of interest. You want that kind of drive and desire. You want to carry that. You want to become the product.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Howard Grant, sitting in for Shanique Miller this evening right here on Beyond the Headlines. We've been having an engaging conversation. We've really been talking about where we are in the nation and trying to be able to dissect that and understand, if we look at past, present, and future, what our expectations can be in these particular areas. I'm joined by none other than Gabrielle Aeneas and Garth Roseborough. I'm so happy to be able to have them here as we continue to be able to kind of expound on these particular things, and just want to be able to do it. I left off talking about the intoxication associated with power and how men in our society who would have come from humble beginnings acquired a position to be viewed as big men and big women, right? And listen to me, I just want to be able to contrast this by saying, for the faith that a great deal of us in this country hold, the faith of Christianity, the faith of Jesus Christ. Even Jesus Christ knew that he was God all this time. Didn't show his power until 30, and by 33 he was gone. That was his 10 year, 3 years. 3 years. And he created disciples to be able to carry the same thing. But us, oh my God, we get to sit here for 25 years. We get to sit here for 98 years. Even if we behind the scenes, we like Geppetto, we pulling all these strings. How is it that you bigger than God? Sometimes you got to get off the scene. I just want to be decent with you. I don't want to ruffle your feathers, but I need you to understand that the Bahama land needs more than your view of what could happen when you was in 1973. The world is evolving and it's leaving us behind. We're having a conversation about LNG in 2025, people trying to figure out other things that we can use. Can we get nanotechnology to do this? Maybe we can get power from the moon. And we still here talking about LNG, and they're trying to eradicate certain aspects of things. Let's just talk about this. Whilst a man with vision presented this to us some 20 years ago, he's smiling on the TV with me as we talk about LNG. I'm talking about Leslie Miller. Let's be clear about these things, man. We're being left behind in this world. And if you're good being laissez-faire, laid back, and just kind of meandering to death, that's on you. But there's some of us out here, even if it's the remnant, who desire to be able to move forward and make some things happen. I just get preachy. I got to calm down.
You know, I listened to Gabby a while ago, and Howard, you joined into the sentiment. And I have much admiration for young people. I actually love young people. I praise God I was able to successfully have someone hired just 2 days ago who's loving his new job and making a lot of money. And this is what I do. I try to incentivize people, try to encourage young people to step forward. But that task is not as easy, Howard Grant, as it sounds. There is a divide that exists between the youth of this nation and people like myself. The world, as she said, is moving so quickly. The cost of living continues to rise. And what we're looking at around the world is a world that is filled with just simple issues and problems and complications and geopolitics. And so even at my age, I have to find a refuge. I got to find an anchor. I got to find a safe place in order for even self to survive. And so what we're looking at in today's Bahamas is sustaining oneself. And unfortunately, those around us who are not able to swim may possibly drown. In this country, we're asking politicians for solutions, but if you look at their previous life before they enter into politics, Howard Grant, I ask you tonight, what have they offered to the community? What have they offered to the country? What have they even offered to their church? They wake up one day broke and decide, you know what? Because of my pretty face, I'm just being real, because my pretty face, or because I went to a nice private school, or because I believe of my profession, because many of them are lawyers, I'm going to find safety, the new middle class job of politics. I'm going to be a politician. And if you look at the math of politics, Howard Grant, it's myself once nominated versus 2, 3, or 4 other people. I do believe my chances are good. Like you call it, Howard Grant, I see a low fence.
Let's heavy what you said.
The low fence is a deliverance for Garth Roseborough. It is no deliverance for the community. There's no deliverance for the country. I got to get in to secure myself. Once I'm in, I have a car, I got a driver, I got health insurance, I got children's scholarships for my children, I got all these benefits. I got 4 meets in the House of Assembly, so I can eat good every day. I get to travel for free, and I got a name on me that everyone who sees me has to understand that I am honorable. But the truth be told, after their 5 years, when we kick them out of office, look at those same people again. If they didn't, I can use the word Bahamian, thief or steal. They go right back into the pig mire where they came from. This is Bahamian politics. This is where we are, and this is why we continue to go around in circles. What we need is people who can bring substance to the conversation of politics in this country and move our country forward.
A few days ago at the parliamentary church service, the annual parliamentary church service, Bishop Delton Fernando actually preached. I read the story in the paper. I did something on my show also, being able to talk about it. And Bishop Delton Fernandez says that if you're not prepared, if you don't have a vision, if you don't believe that the Bahamas can be able to be in a better place, then you need to leave politics. And that's heavy what he said. It was heavy for me to read this and ingest this information, knowing that we are merely products of an environment. That's it. That's all we are. All we are conditioned products of an environment. We have neglected and rejected dreamers in this country. Not just this country. Historically, we've identified people who are dreamers, and we sought to be able to eradicate that dream. We go all the way back to Joseph. We seek to eradicate a dream. How dare you believe you could be better than us? How dare you could believe that you could be better than us? Anyone in our society who has a dream that they can be able to be elevated, most of the time, there is an established effort to be able to pull that particular dream down. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. People who go into politics for the most part don't have a dream. They have a desire for comfort and convenience. They want the consistency of being able to get a regular paycheck and do as they are told. One time ago, this was only in the government sector. Or you wait for government, you're straight. That has changed. Now they're looking for a new target, and the target seems to be the House of Assembly.
Yes, it is.
And it needs to stop. You need to have a dream, an articulation. You need to have a body of work to be able to show what you have done in your community before you even present yourself to say that you want to be a politician. Now we up here analyzing you, assessing you, and all you have is feelings because you was never prepared for this in the first place. You wasn't prepared for this. You ain't ready for this kind of big boy action. And when we're out here, you're watching global politics and how men and women discuss these things, handle these things, execute these things. But locally, you take a different approach. You don't believe professionalism should exist in this space. And how dare someone say they need to be more professional? Everything that I'm reading, I'm saying, when I feel like crime gone down and I feel like this, how do you assess that? Did you hear less gunshots this week? How do you assess these things? How do we now negotiate, navigate our society based upon the emotions of one man or one woman? We need to have the digital information, the data, the analytics to be able to make a determination as to whether or not we're moving forward. But you all ain't want to hear that. You only want to do the things that you're comfortable with. Because you ain't in here for you. You in here for your children. Go on. Go ahead. Go ahead. I can't stop
Get a
this.
young lady a
I'm
chance.
I'm sitting next to two preachers, okay? Howard and God, they can preach now. But the thing about it is you both said something very important. But have you listened to most of these politicians lately or persons who are wanting to vie for politics? I have been called. I feel like I've been called. Everyone has all of a sudden been called and calling and it's their time and to service and all of this stuff. But when you dive deeper into their backgrounds, you all talked about service to their community. Some of them have been so nasty to people. I mean, extremely. Some of them, even business owners, have employed people, and you talk to their past employees and they say that the same people they have to come and ask for votes, mind you, I wouldn't even dirty my hand in that ink for that person because of how nasty they've been. I've heard stories of some of them who are seeking to run. The people say, if they don't think that you are on a higher level than them, they don't respect you. If they don't think you are influential enough. So that means the common man on the street walking down the road, the same man who you have to ask for a vote, is not as important if you don't have the title doctor in front of your name, Howard. But these are the people who are saying that they are called to service.
I like it, Gabby. Howard, challenge before we end our night, and Gabby, you're welcome to chime in on this. Grand Bahama, a place that Howard Grant is very familiar with. Knowing the challenges of Grand Bahama has been astronomical over the years, huh? Totally difficult. I mean, there's nothing easy about Grand Bahama. I've been there. I went to where the International Bazaar used to be. That place looks horrific. It's just flat like you've gone to Baghdad or something like that. The people there are so resilient. Y'all are some beautiful people, by the way. I mean, really, y'all are neat and tidy, and you really got it together, just like Howard, eh? But how do y'all stay there? How do you survive in a Grand Bahama economy? And I'm asking Howard this because anyone who's now aspiring to get into politics, are they aspiring to say that they have the solution to fix Grand Bahama, or they're aspiring to say, I support my party, I support my leader, or whatever they decide to do with their vision, I'm just going to comply and fit myself in? Howard Grant.
There is a difficulty that existed over Grand Bahama for some time. I don't know whether or not it's because you call it the Magic City. I don't know whether or not.
Magic been gone a long time now.
I don't know. But from Francis and James, Grand Bahama has not really catched itself. And then with the death of Edwardson George and Jack Hayward, the camaraderie, the sort of enthusiasm that existed in the city continued to be able to digress, to fade away on an annual basis. And so the political indifference that exists in there, especially the commitment that the majority of Grand Bahamians over the past 2 decades have given to the Free National Movement, there wasn't reciprocity in that relationship. There wasn't a back and forward. There's kind of a relationship where we provide you an opportunity and you take care of us. That did not happen. It did not happen. I think theoretically it was articulated of what can happen. I think their hearts were in the right place when they made these decisions, but the truth of the matter is that that's the same pathway that takes you to hell. You start with a good intention. You start with good intentions, but you end up in hell. Because the truth is that Grand Bahamian people, the resilience has nothing to do with the commitment to one political organization or another. Grand Bahamian people are workers. It's an infusion of a great deal of persons who came from Turks and Caicos Island on the western end of the island. These are the people who built the city of Freeport itself. These are workers. These are laborers. And Grand Bahamian people need someone to have a vision. That vision initially came from, watch me, the Port Authority. That vision that existed with Albert Miller, that vision that existed with Edward St. George and Jack Hayward and so forth and so on, the fusion that afforded opportunities to be able to bounce off and persons to be able to carry home a sizable check. It's a vision that was existing within the confines of that. Grand Bahamian people, for the most part, a great deal of laborers. They are laborers. This is who they come from. Turks Island people are people who just work. They only know how to work. And then the second, third, fourth generation that exists there, they are looking for work. And if you don't see that and you don't see a vision, then the city will definitely be able to implode, fall in on itself.
So how can we move away then from trying to impose just that tourism product in Grand Bahama? Grand Bahama has always been an industrious island. Balco was able to provide good middle-class jobs for many persons. One of my good friends, his father was able to send him off to school, educate his family, everything through those industrious jobs that were able to be provided in Grand Bahama. Now we see a lot of successive governments have been focusing on, we need to get this tourism product. Is tourism the thing for Grand Bahama?
This is the same conversation I feel that happened in the cabinet for them to be able to bring Peter Krieger and the Oban concept. The idea of oil is dying the world over.
Not oil, but I'm saying...
No, what I'm saying, if you say Balco...
I use that as an example for that time now. But there are so much other things. You have medical research facilities.
Absolutely, we saw something like that.
All of these things. You have tech companies. Why not Grand Bahama become a tech hub? I mean, come on. Like I said, the world is changing. But I started it off by being able to tell you that the city was fueled by visionaries. The city was fueled by a vision. It was a bunch of land sitting in a particular space and someone saw something. I can show you the building. I can show you the picture of my building. Before I get it, it was broken down. When I tell the people I want, they say, Jesus. They killing dreamers, Howard.
Right? You got to revive yourself. And you got to be able to make some things happen, guys. I want to say something to you. I really, truly appreciate the opportunity that you have given me to be able to do this. I want to thank Idlehouse Television. I want to thank Beyond the Headlines and Shanique Miller and all those persons who afforded me a space to come here. I want to thank you, Garth. I want to thank Leslie Miller. I want to thank you, Gabby, for being able to sit here with us tonight. Guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this conversation. And if you did, tell Janique them call me. Hey, make sure call me more often. I can work and see if I can be in another space. I can keep trying to do what I have to do. But I'm passionate about this country, passionate to see us move in the right direction. I want you guys to be safe this weekend. I know there's a holiday on Monday.
Be safe.
Don't get wet and soak. Amen?
Amen.
Do so with responsibility. And have a good time, guys. We're going to see you on the next time right here on Beyond the Headlines. Have a beautiful evening.